milking it.
He's fine. No, he's all right. It's just George. Chief coming?
Yeah, I thought he was ahead of me, but.
I have to leave here shortly after we do our oaths. Gina's going to take over the meeting. We'll still have a quorum.
Okay.
So I'm going to address a couple of the items before I leave. Huh?
Okay.
You should have moved it up. Leave the big.
Jeannie will do fine. I'm going to go down and I'm going to take care of this and this and this. I'll take care of all these. And then let's come back and say, these are his reports. That one has to be voted on. That's the only one. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty.
One clock says 4, one says 3:58, that one says 3:59. What's Apple time? 4 o'clock. Apple time it is. All right. We'll call the Warsaw-Wayne Township Fire Territory Board meeting to order. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So normally we have a moment of silence, which we will today, but I'd also like to especially have us remember those folks that braved their lives, that horrible fire in the Bronx, and especially those that lost their lives as well. So we'll have a moment of silence for them. All right, thank you. All right, so before you all take your seats, I'm going to ask you to stand up, and I'm going to ask our attorney to come around front and give us all the oaths of office. We'll need those oaths administered today so that we all have the opportunity to vote this new year.
I think we did this in mass.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So I'll just say aye and then state your name and obviously state your name. Don't state your name. Please raise your right hand. I.
I, Joe Tallmer,
State your name. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and diligently
discharge my duties
discharge my duties as a member of the Warsaw-Wayne Township Fire Protection Territory,
Warsaw-Wayne Township Fire Protection Territory,
according to law,
according to law,
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability. All right.
If you would please, at the top, there's a place to print,
Happy New Year.
and then also
Hey,
sign
Happy New Year.
names.
It's cold here.
Print, sign, and then forward those down to my way, and I'll sign.
All right, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. While you all are signing those and filling those out, I will note to our secretary that we do have a quorum. Everyone is present in the building here, so we've got a full roll call, a full quorum, and that can be noted in the minutes. Speaking of the minutes, I will move to ask for approval of the minutes from the December 7th Fire Territory Board meeting. I think you were all here, and I would just ask for your consideration of those minutes. Is there a motion to approve those as presented?
I so move.
I will second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. And again, welcome to our visitors. Appreciate you coming out on this cold afternoon. I have to leave here shortly, but I did want to address, I wanted to skip the order a little bit and go into new business and handle the first 3 items before I leave. The first of which is the confirmation of the appointment of Fire Chief Michael Wilson. And you'll note on the agenda it says until the successor is appointed. We are this close to naming our successor. The successor has been selected, has come and visited with the fire territory. He is working through a lot of the paperwork, the pension physicals and the assessments that are all part of this. We know that there will be some relocation involved, and he probably won't be here until sometime in mid-February. His name is Garrett Holderman, and he's from rural metro fire territory in Arizona. He's got quite a list of resume as far as his experience. I'll hold back much more in detail until we officially name him and officially then appoint him at our next meeting. But I feel it important that we continue on with Chief Wilson, and I'd ask for a motion to approve Chief's appointment again for another year.
Make that motion.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And then at the appropriate time, we will come back when we make the formal announcement, and we will then have to take this similar vote to name him the chief. So the next thing we need to do is appoint a recording secretary. All eyes are on Shirley.
If you'd like for me to, I would accept.
Okay.
This year.
All right.
I'll make a motion if we need one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. And then the last item, before I turn the gavel over to Jeannie, is to just appoint our fire territory attorney. Andrew's been with us for some time, and I would ask for your thoughts and desires, and if not a motion, to name our attorney for another year.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, I will turn the gavel over to Jeannie and go through and go back to the unfinished business, or excuse me, reports, overwritten communication, and then come back down to finished of new business. So thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good trip. Okay. Do you want to go ahead with this old medical and that, under that new business while we're in that group? Do you want me to start up here with that? Okay. We'll do the monthly response report.
So presented to you is the monthly monthly fire activity report. This is your first one. If everybody's on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 238 calls for the month of November in 2021. 65 of them were fire-related incidents. 173 were either medical or rescue related. You'll see that even though there was quite a few fire call-outs for actually fires, the damage amount's only $3,000. But you'll also note that structural actual cash values of all those runs was $44 million, due to the fact that we went to one large commercial structure manufacturing facility. Very small dollar amounts in damage. We assisted 3 other agencies, one on Lake Leesburg and Syracuse. Reason we went clear up to Syracuse is we took the Titus fan up for one of their commercial fires. You go into the next page, your medical calls, Station 1, 75, Station 2, 58, Station 3, 22, Admin 1. Station 1 downtown, naturally the busier station. And you're going to see that as we mentioned before, we're going to start giving you the CARES calls that we actually assigned to the CARES group, which is the EMS chief and myself. And we had 12 of them for November. Motor vehicle accidents is listed there for you. No vehicle extrications. 1 elevator rescue. You go into the 400 group, which is your hazardous conditions with no fires, a couple electrical issues, and then vehicle accidents with cleanup. The next one is your 600 group, which is your smoke odor removals, your assist to citizens, and unauthorized burning. Rolls you into your the rest of your 600 group and the 700 group, which is canceling routes and no incidents on arrivals, and then false alarms. So 116 calls for Station 1, 88 for Station 2, and 32 for Station 3. 16 and a quarter hours of community service that we have provided, or the guys did during the month of November. You'll see there's 1,212 students and adults in the elementary school fire safety program that was addressed. So that's 1,200 of the kids during that month. Then it'll roll into your next breakout is by actual code, reporting code to the state. Goes into your training hours as it's broke down. It's your next page. So there's your 449 hours of training in that 30-day period. And then we also give you who we saw as far as community service, and there's your breakdown for the schools. So Jefferson, Harrison, Washington, Claypool, and Leesburg. We do go to Claypool, which is out of our fire territory. We also go up to Leesburg out of our fire territory because both of those schools want the kids to have the same education as what we're doing inside the city. Madison and Eisenhower. We are still going to continue to give you the overlapping runs report, which is pretty much your last report you'll see in this report system. And there's still quite a few times that one station's out and another one gets called. So we do have the overlap. That's your monthly report for November of 2021.
Okay. Have any questions, anything? No. Okay. Go over the expenditure reports.
You
What? I'm sorry.
Lutheran?
Oh, Lutheran, do you, okay. I wasn't on here, sorry. I'm just going by my agenda.
Yeah, your agenda's a little different than what it shows on
Board pack?
the board pack.
Sorry.
The way it's worded.
That's all right, I can give our report. So this month, as you guys will see, we were pretty consistent with how we've seen things lately. In November, one thing that we ran into significantly in November and has carried over through December and January is the number of hospitals that are currently on diversion. Unfortunately, it's something we're dealing with on an everyday basis. Over the weekend, we had 3 hospitals within a tri-county area that were all on diversion at the same time. The unfortunate standpoint of that is that some of our residents are being taken outside of their normal area. For example, if a doctor with a Lutheran health physician, they may be taken to a Parkview facility, they may be taken to a Beacon Health facility. And unfortunately, it's just not just here, but the entire state is dealing with that. You can kind of see that starting to reflect in some of our numbers. One of the ones that you'll see on the second page is our scene times. Our scene times, you'll notice, are significantly longer. And that's because we're starting to do a lot more on scene because we know that once we get to the hospital, there will be a lag in care. So we're doing a lot more things, getting them a lot more stabilized versus getting them to the hospital because we know we can give them the care that they need at that point. So our response times, again, stay significantly low throughout the entire township. So otherwise, Otherwise, everything else is pretty consistent throughout the month. You'll see that we treated and transported 360 with a total of 455 encounters. Then on the back page, you'll see the hour report. This is pretty consistent with what we have. This month, during November, confirmed that 8-hour truck that we've added into service to help cover those 10 to 6 times that are significantly higher call volume. And that's seen there. So next month, with our December month, we will report our end of year statistics to you guys, along with our community service outreach programs and how those did even through the pandemic year. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Now?
Okay, equipment replacement fund, 410. Can't get it open for some reason. There we go. Has everybody had a chance to look at what we did spending wise for November and the equipment replacement? Yes. Really not much on there. Go to what is reported as page 2. It's actually page 3 if you're scanning. Page 2 has got, we had to replace the dump tank. What that means is not something it's a deportable tank that's used with the tanker system. So that expense is in there. And SCBA flow tests were done. So all of your SCBA, your self-contained breathing apparatus, has been tested and is good for another year. And then our computer programs is on there also. Any questions on those?
Just, the only comment that I would have is it just appears like we haven't had to spend a lot of money this year.
Been very fortunate except for repairs and maintenance on equipment, on apparatus. I had a report from Damien. I believe he saved us about 140, right around $140,000 in labor expenses this year. So if nothing, I do have operating fund number 103, which is your operating expenses, opened on my computer. If anybody has any questions on that.
You know, in a lot of cases, the percentage left is still pretty good.
You're doing quite well, yes. And again,
Good job.
when you get through the end of December, what Shirley has not spent will be rolled over into your,
Right.
so my projection for the end of 2022 is you'll be well above what the city council wants for your rollover balance percentage. Yeah, I don't see, there's really hardly anything spent out that in November.
Okay.
So Jeannie, you will need a motion to accept both of those.
I'll make a motion to accept the reports.
I'll second that.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Okay, next we got the, all right. What are you on? I don't have that, that's all medical.
Yeah.
Oh, preventive maintenance thing,
Yes.
is that? I don't have everything right here. The hazardous materials.
Everything else should be the same. I just don't break down on the copy you get the expenditure, it just says monthly expenditure reports and monthly response reports, but the rest is the same as what the board pack shows.
Okay, you do this, so it's all medical corporation, preventive, okay, the medical, all right, gotcha. The zone medical for preventative maintenance contract,
There's the, up above, the hazardous materials technician training proposal, which is still under reports and oral and written. That's after the expenditure.
sorry, I can hardly hear. Okay, you wanna,
Yeah, that's it, what you have right in front
Yeah,
of
right
you.
there.
this one right here?
Yes, and
Yeah,
it's on your agenda,
yeah, I've got it right here.
yeah.
Well, it should be-
No, it's up above.
Yeah, it should be under number 3. It's 3 under number, Roman numeral 3.
Right here,
I'm sorry.
it's right here.
Okay, well, that's what I started to, but then you thought something
Okay.
else. So hazardous material technician training proposal.
You know what, Shirley, that is not on board pack.
It's not on board pack.
It's not on board pack?
Nope.
So I didn't transfer over. So what happened was Ed Rock had reached out to Assistant Chief Bollinger on some training for hazardous materials.
Andrew printed it off, it was on his,
It was on my agenda.
it was on, in his board pack.
Anyway, yeah, I don't have it. Unfortunately, it's not showing up on my screen. So anyway, what that was this is an informational thing for you in reference to Ed Rock had put in for us for some dollar amounts for hazardous materials technician training. That was awarded, so the funds, we will be doing a hazmat technician class. And I believe it's going to start in March. And all of the cost of the instruction for it is paid for through that grant, so it's no cost to us. But that'll get about 24 individuals up to speed on technician level hazardous materials.
I can email everyone this, I'll email everyone this information. Apologize if you don't have it.
All right. I don't know what to do with this. Sorry.
There was more information. We had asked for permission to apply for probably October's, I believe, October and November, through Ed Rock. And it was funds that Ed Rock was able to get through the EMA. So this is information to you that we did get the funds, and no funds are coming to us. It's all being paid for by EMA. So nothing will go through our city books on it.
Okay, all right.
Are those state instructors for that, or?
Yes, they are. Ed Hamby's going to be up, and there's quite a few others that are going to be doing that.
Okay.
How many hours is it?
Chris?
I think it's 2 weeks. Trust me, I'm not in it. Sorry, Mr. Fansel.
So the Zoll Preventative Maintenance Agreement, we did that once before. It is a contractor through Zoll that comes in and does preventive maintenance on our monitors. We have 4 of the Zoll monitors that we were lucky enough to get through a grant, so we got the monitors for free. They're worth about $35,000 a piece, but we use them a lot. We use them basically every med run we go on. This is a good way for us to make sure that they're working like they're supposed to, and it takes the liability off of us to do maintenance on them. We do a daily check on them anyway, but this is, they go back and make sure that the machine's working like it's supposed to, so. For me, the reason we ask is it's a contract, that's the verbiage on it, but it's a 1 day, he comes in for 1 day, goes through all 4 monitors, signs off that they've been checked, and then the next year we go through it again. But it's actually a small price to pay to know that they're working like they're supposed to, in my opinion. So we're just asking your permission to sign that contract with that contractor, have him come in for a day and go through it. So, and again, we did it last year, I think in February, March, we did it. It's just time to start getting that done again.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
And I'll second.
Everybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Any discussion? Okay. Carried.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Okay.
Next one's the Naloxolene Rescue Kit Grant.
I'm sorry.
That's why I stayed up here.
Yeah.
The next one's for the Narcan grant. We get it through, this is the fourth time I think we've applied for it.
Yeah.
What it is it's intranasal naloxone for narcotic or opiate overdoses. If you guys have paid attention, recently in the past few days, they decided that opioid overdoses are the #1 killer now between 18 and 45 years old in the United States. In the past, we've applied for, I don't know what it was in the beginning. I know when I first started, we got 300 doses of Narcan. And then we distribute that to first responders, fire departments, police, anybody basically who wants it within our system. We've given it to jailers, confinement officers, sheriff's department. We get 300 doses, and then we become the gatekeeper for that. When one's used, we rotate it out and replace it. It's no cost to us, so we're just, it was time to apply, we were almost out. I did apply, and within 2 days, we got the acceptance back that we'd been awarded it. Our intent was to come to you and say, hey, we've applied for this, is that okay with you? Before we could even do that, we were awarded the grant. So it costs us nothing. But it is a great program, and that we're able to supply that to the other first responders in this county. So this is more of an informational, hey, we're gonna do this, hey, we did it, hey, we got it, kind of thing. But it has worked out really well for us being the gatekeeper for that program. We've got, everybody comes to us for it. So we also provide that training free for anybody that wants it within that community as well. So it works out pretty well.
So because of the time stamp on when we had to fax this back, it did go to the Board of Works on last Friday, the 7th, and it was passed at Board of Works. So I would, if the attorney's fine with it, I'd make a recommendation that you vote on receiving the Narcan that was approved for, at the Board of Works on 1/7/22, the Narcan grant.
I'll make that motion.
Yes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried.
One question, just to give the public who might be listening an idea, how long does it take for you to go through 300 doses of this? I mean, how long will it last? How big is the problem?
I think we go through that about every year.
A year,
Yeah,
okay.
you're down to how many do you have left? 7, 8, 10?
10 doses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, that being said, it does expire over time. I mean, this is, each time we do the grant, usually there's 2 different dates. So you get a batch of 150, and it outdates at a certain time, and then you get the next batch of 150. But we do basically try to saturate as many fire departments and as many police officers and as many confinement officers and the home detention folks. We try to give it to anybody that we can within that realm that can make a difference. I think, I don't remember what the numbers were, but we have actually given probably 100 doses this year.
Okay.
And the rest have just been to saturate the area. I'd say that's realistically what you would.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do police officers have that in their vehicles? or-
Usually on their vests, yeah, somewhere. And our guys are the same way. They carry it in their vests. Because it's twofold. It's one for the patients, but it's also for police officers, firefighters, EMS folks that come in contact with the substance. They can actually accidentally overdose just by coming in contact with
Yeah, one of our biggest fears is fentanyl.
it. Yep.
Fentanyl powder, yeah.
Well, what we found is that they are mixing so many different drugs now that, we had a thing for a while when they were mixing meth with fentanyl. So the Narcan would wake them up and then they'd become combative and have that to deal with after the opioid is out of their system. Then the meth makes them agitated and violent. So, yeah, it's definitely, it's worse than what I've ever seen, so. This is just trying to get more Narcan out into the community and the ability to respond to it in a faster way. And that's our court thing that we're gonna talk about at some point as well. That falls right into that. I don't know if that's next or not. I don't have a copy of it.
So motion.
We passed
Did you? Okay, so then we'll just move right into your next topic, which
Thank you.
is with your EMS chief, Mr. Fansel.
Okay, so this is the ARC.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so the ARC grant, it's Rural Communities Opioid Response Program. It's a federal grant. Bowen Center is actually offered to be the fiscal agent for that, so they would apply for and get the funding. It's $1 million over 3 years. Our cost of that is nothing, by the way. We are just one of the signers that we would help offer our advice and direction on where that money can do the most good. We actually have been in a meeting today with Fellowship Mission, K-21, and Live Well Kosciuszko. And then Parkview's involved in, well, I take that back. Bowen's involved in that, and then obviously, I think it's the 5 of us really that are kind of running that application process. On where that money could go to help JCAP, help, with the coordination of that and addiction. That's what this grant is for, is getting opioid addiction and the response to that. What we're looking at, our end of things, is taking some money from that grant and folding it into the CARES program. As they go out, they can do training to the community on Narcan and their opiates. They can do a little bit of coordination and getting those people into the help that they need and into that stream. So, again, it's not gonna cost us anything. We would be the recipient of it. We would also hopefully guide where that money's gonna go as it comes through the Bowen Center funnel. It did go to Board of Works last week. The mayor did sign off on it. Board of Works approved it. As I heard it explained, it's money to help fight this problem that we don't currently have. So we're asking permission to apply for that. And how can I put that? Put our name on it so that Bowen can apply for it. And then bring that money into this community and help fight this problem.
On the second page of this, it talks about the needs of those suffering from, it has an acronym, SUD and OUD.
It's drug dependency. Is
Okay.
what it boils down to.
Yeah, I didn't see where it
We're talking
explained that.
about peer recovery coaches with the Bowen Center and with Fellowship. We're talking about coordinating people coming out of like a JCAP program or just being incarcerated and making sure they're getting to that next step of addiction counseling. So it's going to be it's actually a much larger program than I'm even talking about. We're trying to find a way to address this from different angles. And $1 million, it's over 3 years, so it's 300, a third of that in each year. There's some admin fees you have to have. We were talking about finances a little bit ago when we were in a meeting, trying to figure out where that money's gonna go. There is some data collection and some leadership fees that come out of that, but we're hoping, we budgeted for that full-time CARES coordinator this year. We're hoping that some of the money we get from that can help buffet some of that cost out so that we actually free up some space in our wages. That would be the idea. And maybe even put into place the on-call CARES coordinators that we kind of talked about before and covering some of that cost as well. So that way there'd be somebody 24/7 to respond to the situation.
So with this going to the Board of Works, had to be signed that day by the mayor. Again, it was a very short opportunity from the time we got the original paperwork on Thursday afternoon to our meeting Friday morning, and then hand carried it in at Board of Public Works and Safety. Again, the importance behind this is there are 5 players in it. The City of Warsaw, Warsaw-Wayne Fire Territory acting in place as the City of Warsaw is going, because of our response to the community, is a major part of that player. Bowen Center, of course, and then the other individuals, K-21 Health Foundation, Live Well Kosciuszko. This group's been meeting for about a year, trying to come up with the planning phase of this. It's worked really well. I think you're going to see this as an asset to the problems that we have in our county and our community. And I, as fire chief, come to you with the EMS chief and ask that you agree with what the Board of Works approval was, and that we will be allowed, if this is okay with the fire territory attorney, that once this comes through the pipeline from the federal government, if awarded, that we would be allowed to participate as one of those 5. Motion.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, then, for the, now we're ready for the travel requests?
Hang on just a second. Okay, it's open. So numerous people on a travel request. Those that are leaving the community for fire instructor development as Jason Neer and Kyle Martin. That's in Valpo. It's just a one-day thing, no cost, except for lunch. Aaron Bollinger's fire instructor development's going to go over there also. Joel Updike doing live fire fix facility, so it's like for our training center. That's a cost of $823. And then we have turned in to you for approval the year-long various location dates, such as for the fire marshal, Division of Fire and Building Safety classes that are spread throughout northern Indiana, the Fire Inspectors Association, the EMS chief and myself for EMS commission meetings once they start meeting in person again. Also for me, the senior advisory committee meetings, even though it's short-lived. And then dive rescue and technical rescue. Because of being a part of District 2, we go numerous locations throughout the district for various trainings. So we have supplied this to you. Those are your training requests that will, if you approve them, they will move forward to the Board of Public Works and Safety.
Okay, is there any discussion?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it's carried for all the travel requests. Okay. If there's any other discussion from anyone?
Hearing
I
none,
have
make a
nothing
motion to
else.
adjourn.
Second.
And it's adjourned.
Trial by fire.
What?
Trial by fire. You did good.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thank you.
You gonna turn it off?
Minutes, so I need.
Let me show you where it showed up on mine.